Crossbow Ranger is probably the best Ranger build right now, at least in duos and trios. And since I did not include it in my Ranger Guide video, which you can find the link for in the description, here is a separate video fully dedicated to the build. Alright, first start, I'm going to go over the different perks and skills you want to use. The two perks and skills you must use are Crossbow Mastery and Sharpshooter. Crossbow Mastery for obvious reasons. The action speed while reloading is the only reason you would ever use the build. Then for the other two, I normally run Ranged Weapons Mastery and Spear Proficiency. If you want, you can drop either of these. For like a perk like Chase would probably be the only other one you use. So if you want to run Chase, you can drop either Damage or Spear. For skills, I always take Backstep, and I typically run Paired Shot. But you can run Penetrating Shot for this, for Armor Pen, True Shot, which is also pretty good. Then you can even run Field of Actions if you want. The HP is pretty nice, but I haven't done that in a long time. But yeah, I almost always run Paired Shot, even in like solos, because it works on prop pots, so you still get some value. And if it's like a bard, it's just insane. The next part is how I build my kits. There's gonna be like 5 or 6 different kits here, just like lower gear kits, higher gear kits, and what I would swap out, like if you want specific stats. So this is what I'd normally run for a budget kit, just a decent crossbow, a decent windlass. You can honestly just go legendary windlass because they're cheap, and then decent spear. Pendant, something like a frost amulet if just mid rolls. You can run better than this if you want. Forest Hood, just a Forest Hood purple, like Fizz Power. Double Fizz Power Wanderer attire or doublet. These can get expensive, but if you look for a base 2 to 3 Fizz Power roll and then socket the Fizz Dam bonus, you're gonna get pretty cheap. Same thing with the trousers. And then cloak, something like this. You don't need it to be like max rolled like this. Like Grimmies of Ad Fizz, or you can run like Rings of Courage with Fizz Power and Ad Fizz. Just Riveted Gloves, True Fizz, and one other roll. Again, you can socket onto this. Look for the base stat you want, like Fizz Power, then socket. Because blue gems are semi-cheap. Boots, similar, just move speed bonus and damage, typically. And if you look at the stats, get pretty good HP. Move speed isn't terrible. Really good Fizz Dam bonus. Just your action speed's not great. And then if you want more move speed, you can switch like these pieces. These Lightfoots are pretty expensive, so you can go worse if you want. You can also run lace turn shoes for better Fizz Power. Ranger Hood just gives good move speed. Like this, I lose some Fizz Dam bonus, lose a bit of HP, but I gain a ton of move speed. And then if you want, say you want more action speed, you can switch to cloth pants, similar to these. Just gives you a bit more. But that's all for like a budget build. This is what I normally run. For like a good kit that's not very budget, but also not turbo, I would run something like this. Got a Forest Hood, like double roll. Legendary is good, you can also do a purple. Typically Frost Amulet with good rolls, you can also get like an all outs one here. I also sometimes run a Torque Soul, like something like this. It'd be worse than this, but all outs health True Fizz, just because not having MDR and Ranger can be really annoying. But for most people this would be better. Chest piece, just typically a Wanderer attire for a good roll or two. This one's on the worst end, but this will do the trick. Cloak, normally tatted cloak. True Fizz HP, works fine. Grimmies, similar to the last one, but they have the 2 Fizz Power instead, so just a lot more damage. Just good Riveteds of any sort, can be legendary like these, or say like a good pair of purple. Boots, a lot of HP on them. And then similar to the last one, can put on Lightfoots if you want move speed, even Ranger Hood. Or you can do a gold scarf instead. This is better than Ranger Hood, but pretty expensive to get a good one. And then crossbows. You typically a legendary one, and then always the legendary windlass and a decent spear. But that doesn't matter too much. This is an example of like a true BIS build for the crossbow. This is a max roll legendary of weapon damage. Could go unique too. Same thing with windlass. This windlass isn't as good, but it gets the job done. Really good Frost Amulet. Similar to the rest, you can also run Fangs of Death or Torque of Soul like this. and that just boosts your MDR, so you're not getting insta-killed by wizards. Like insane Wanderer attire, insane cloak, good Grimmies. Ideally you would have all outs on both Grimmies, but this is just one I had on hand. Good Brave Hunters, good gloves, good boots, just all the like really good stuff you would normally see. These are the stats. I got a ton of HP, good action speed, and then Fizz Power is similar to the rest of the kits just because if you see here, when you get the 50 Fizz Power, it's a soft cap, so you're getting half as much value. So you can build more Fizz Power, like you could go even more damaged items, like I guess Wolf Hunt is here, but you're gonna hit a soft cap. Oh, and I missed one thing, but similar to the last build. Good light fuzz, you can switch from move speed, and then you're gonna want a gold scarf, more move speed. This one isn't the best ruled one, but while the arm rating headshot DR is low, it's so much stats compared to the other one. Because as you see, I'm not losing as much fizz power, and my move speed's like insanely high. But I still, because this build's just best in duos and trios, I'd recommend that full damage, or if anything, only switch the boots, because switching the hat's just not worth it. This here's my arena kit. So this is like all the stuff I've crafted and found. This is like the best crossbow you can get for arena, pretty much. This win list is pretty terrible. I've had bad luck finding them. Spear of Rot, max damage. And then, like I said before, I run Fangs of Death because I need the MDR. Similar reason for the Dread Hood. I mean, it's just good stats having 5 fizz power and buff duration, but the main thing is it is 15 base mag res, which is like a Forest Hood. It's just I can craft it and it's more move speed, and I haven't found like a legendary Forest Hood to socket, so this thing's the best I got. Ruby Silver Doublet. Ideally, you want a Wanderer attire, but this is just the best thing I could craft because I couldn't find a good Wanderer. And the main thing for these is you really want the Fizz Dam bonus because these are the only pieces you can get such a high damage roll. Because like this is max 2 Fizz power, max 3 Fizz power, but you can get up to 5% Fizz Dam bonus. Again, Golden Cloak, more MDR. And I have like this cloak I could switch on, which I would switch when against like non-casters. But honestly, I don't think it's as good overall. I'm losing a bit of action speed, losing HP, and gaining just 4 Fizz power, which is a lot, but still, it's losing so many stats. These are my boots, just again heavy boots, very good. I don't have any hot swap faster boots because I don't need it for arena. You don't really need to be fast for it. Good Riveteds I found in raid, then Grimmies, I just crafted 1 all-outs true, and then socketed everything else. Ideally, again, you want the 2 fizz power on these, but it's hard to get. Then here, this is typically what I'll switch. It's a Warden for more PDR, so I'm getting 5% from that and gaining move speed. I actually wear this a lot, because against any like ranges and PDR matchups, you want it. I found this Spangle Helm. I sometimes switch both on, because as you can see, my PDR goes really high. But I lose a lot of damage and HP, so that's not necessary. Then I just have a good spear. This is my arena kit, just another example of a BIS kit you could run. And this is like the last way to build Crossbow Ranger. People don't really talk about this, is high action speed. I think it's worse doing this because the fizz power is just so good to have for the 1-taps and like stuff and quick 2-taps. But this lets you reload super fast and just chain hits. You don't need to get this high in action speed, but this is like a kit I quickly threw together. This is good, but you'd want like double roll for like the kit I'm running. This pendant's very good. Cloak's fine, but I mean ideally a bit better. Both these rings are fine. Good chest piece. I think doublet ideally if you're stacking that action speed, but this is just more total stats because a legendary doublet's 6 stats and this is 7, so. And then Brave Hunters, like always, these things are impossible to not use. Gloves, Dex, Strength, Boots, probably Dex Boots. My fizz power is low in this kit because it's not fully optimized, but like it's the main point, is like super high action speed. I have fun when I run this, but I don't think it's better than the other one. And you could probably switch out these for Lightfoots again, like the other builds, for more move speed. You could always also switch the hat because technically a Ranger Hood or a Gold Scarf would give more action speed, but again, I don't think it's worth it. So if you want more move speed, switch out the boots, like always. So the next most important thing to learn of Crossbow Ranger is this hot swap tech. So if you see, if I'm holding up my crossbow, and instead of switching like this normally, which is slow, what you do is you quickly move your offhand item to your main hand item, and it'll insta swap like this. So this is most likely gonna get patched. People really don't like it. It's pretty stupid. Like there's no reaction to it, so just you won't get banned or anything for doing it, but just letting that know. I will leave a pinned comment if and when it gets patched. But what this lets you do is, say I'm shooting at a guy, I can shoot the crossbow, then instantly hot swap and shoot them with the windlass. So it makes you burst DPS insane because you're pretty much switching to a windlass and it's unreactable for someone. I'll show it one more time. Like that, and it's just insanely fast to get a windlass out. Otherwise, you just normally hot swap like this, shoot, hot swap, shoot, pretty slow, but it gets the job done. I think this is what makes the build so strong in my opinion. Not that many people do it because some people don't like hearing it and some people just don't know about it. But that, if you really want to be good at Crossbow Ranger, I think is what you should learn, because sometimes one thing you gotta worry about is it won't work. I don't know why. It's the same thing as when you're switching a spear here, sometimes it just doesn't work, like instantly. I don't know if it's sometimes something you're doing wrong, if it's just like that, so I wish I could tell you, but that's hot swapping. So overall, if Crossbow Ranger, there's some pros and the cons you need to know about. For its strengths, it is like super high burst DPS, and if windless, you can just one-shot people sometimes. Well, this isn't consistently going to happen, because if you're in the same, like, matched kit as someone, you're not going to one-shot them. If you're against a good Wiz, anyone like that, you're not one-shotting them. This is a common misconception. Especially if damage fall off, which if you don't know, when at, like, probably outside of zap range, a while ago they did a change that makes it start earlier. Your damage falls off by about, like, 20% probably, is where it begins. And it goes a bit more, but that's another thing you need to know. But either way, it has super high burst DPS on the crossbow build. Then crossbow is insane armor pen that like will help deal with PDR players, especially if you're running like full armor pen build. The like 12% from gear, 25% from the skill. In crossbow, you're like 80% armor pen against a fighter, and that's really good. It also is, I would say, just better for budget builds. Being able to stack full phys power and budget and just chunk like really good players. And it's also less reliant on like having true and ad fizz on your gear. Ideally, you still want it because it's the best damage stat you can get for like a single roll. So like compared to 2 fizz power, you always want 1 true, something like that. However, it does have a lot of weaknesses. Like if it's very bad if you're getting ran down. So if you miss a shot and there's a barb running at you, it's like really hard to try to reload and hit him again or stabilize. It is probably the biggest issue of the build. It can also be hit and miss in like 1v1 against a ranger and caster, because if you whiff a shot or two, you're in like extreme disadvantage. Don't have the quick shots of like the longbow recurve, because you have to reload the crossbow instantly. This especially means if a Wiz is pretty close to you, you whiff a shot, you're just gonna die to 2 or 3 zaps. And the build overall is just super aim reliant and based on consistency. But even if all those, the like high burst DPS is the reason you run this build and why it's so good. Especially because your biggest weakness on Ranger is someone running away, spam closing a door, taking a red, all the stuff that's really annoying right now. You can't break doors, you can't push into it like around a corner to a barb, like you have to kill them fast, and this is the only way. Overall, playing Crossbow Ranger is not much different than a normal Ranger. You're still just playing distance, like shooting whoever you can, typically focusing squishies when you can, like the backline. The main thing is you're just gonna be looking to quick DPS someone, maybe focus them with your team if someone's low, try to cross for them, then windlass them. Main thing I'd say is when using your windlass, don't start off a fight holding windlass out and try to shoot them. It's super easy to like see and react to. You want to try to catch it off guard, either shooting someone with a crossbow and then chaining it into a hot swap windlass using the tech, or just swapping normally. Both work. Then you can windlass someone and it's hard for them to react. Because say if you cross with someone, some people will go and try to jump away, get around way faster, and it makes it very easy to hit the windlass shot. But overall, you're still kiting, and just playing range like you normally are. The one thing I would say is it's not as good at super long range as longbow. It is pretty good bullet velocity, but it feels pretty bad at very long range trying to like fight a longbow ranger. For the most part, like when one of you want a ranger, it's gonna be harder to do because like trying to fight a bow if a crossbow when they're jiggling a corner is just not easy. But again, you have insane damage, so you're gonna be killing them faster, and that's like the reason it's so good. If that's most of all how you play it. Just gotta be careful about getting run down. It's much better if you have a front line, someone in front that can stop you from getting ran at by a barb or a fighter, than let you actually reload and keep shooting. But that's about all. It's a pretty niche topic, but races, I sometimes see people ask this. There's a couple different races you can use. Overall, get this out of the way, it does not matter what race you use. The difference is negligible. Use whatever you want, as long as it's not Lizardman or Lycan. Like, at a high level, in like high roller against juices, Lizardman and Lycan is throw. But again, if you want like them, use them. It's not the end of the world. But even with that, the number one for Crossbow Ranger, I think, is Orc. Gives you that strength you want. Then you just lose a bit of agi, which is like 0.75 move speed. That's not going to be much. Mummy's good for this reason too, but it's vague instead of strength. And then Zombie. This is overall like best race in the game. It's actually too good because there's no downside. It's supposed to make debuffs last longer and buffs last longer, but instead it makes debuffs last less long and buffs last longer. So there's no downside to it. If you don't know what to run on the class, run Zombie. And then Frost Skelly on Crossbow Ranger, I don't think it's that good because one weapon damage on a 47, 48 damage crossbow. That's not that much, and you're losing 3 move speed. But if you do the math overall, you're still gaining 2% damage because it's one weapon damage on a 45 damage crossbow, and you're only losing 1% move speed because 3 move speed out of your 300. Even if that though, I wouldn't run it, but it does look pretty cool if Gold Scarf, as you see here, has the hat on still. Those are the main races I would like. I think there's some debate too, but you can just use whatever. Like if you want move speed, use this. If you want dex, use either of the cats. If you want armor rating and Madres, sometimes I've used a skeleton for Madres. Just use whatever race, but there's a brief description on the best ones. Overall, that's all I have for Crossbow Ranger for this video. I'm sure I missed something, like always, but leave in the comments if I missed something or if you need more explanation. I also have my Discord in the description, so if anyone needs help with a build or anything like that, it's open. And if you want more Ranger build advice, I have a full video on Ranger in general, and it goes through every perk, all the builds, everything like that. So that will also be in the description. But thanks for watching, and subscribe.